Hey guys, what's up? I'm going to do another couple of fragrances today, a little review kind of thing, keep my channel active. Today I'm going to do Montale's Chocolate Greedy, excuse me, sorry, and Vanille Absolute. Strangely, I don't think there's been any reviews whatsoever about Vanille Absolute, and I think there's only been a few Chocolate Greedy reviews on YouTube at least, and I don't even think they're in American actually. So I'm going to give you my opinion of those basically. Okay, so let's, I should say before, I'm going to do Chocolate Greedy first, and before I get into that, I know that's been compared to, like, say, something like Choco Musk or whatever it is. I've never smelled that, so I don't really have any opinion on that. I know it's also been compared to Guerlain's Gourmand Coquine or whatever it is. And I'll say I don't think these smell anything alike. So if you like one, that does not mean you will like the other, because I don't think they smell anything alike myself. So anyway, the notes for Chocolate Greedy are just, it's only two tiers. It's just coffee, cocoa, tonka bean, bitter orange, vanilla, and dried fruits. So not a lot going on there, right? And I'd also like to say that each of these fragrances, I don't think it's in the note list, but I've read that it has it, and I wouldn't be surprised. They both have absolu super in them, and to anyone that has never smelled absolu super or can't smell it, like in that Molecule 01, it's kind of like a plastic, a fresh, sort of like plastic, a plastic saw cutting through like sawdust kind of smell, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I can smell Molecule 01. I know some people can't, but I can smell it. And it's like kind of like sawdust being sawed from a plastic saw. And it's kind of like nostril burning. Like, it's pretty strong. At least I think it is. Anyway, so I think both of these fragrances have it. And so you can definitely spray, although I don't think that, say, Chocolate Greedy is, say, too strong. Like, it projects pretty well, but it's not like, you know, beast mode that it could, like, just the notes itself are too strong or whatever, if you get what I'm saying. But the absolu super, I know I can't spray too much of it because I get that nostril burning effect if I put on too much, just like I do Molecule 01. Anyway, hopefully you got me there, okay? So anyway, what do I get out of Chocolate Greedy? Well, the first blast, the first few seconds smell just like the cap, and off the cap, I think it smells kind of like a chocolate orange cake frosting on a sort of somewhat chocolatey cocoa cake, maybe, I don't know, cocoa ball kind of thing, cereal, but like kind of like an orange kind of frosting like that. It smells pretty good. Excuse me, from the cap and right when you first spray, but instantly it sort of turns into like a, I would say for maybe the next half hour to an hour, a sort of, some sort of bakery kind of smell, but like a sort of like maybe a bitter cookie, some kind of dough, some kind of like batter. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I don't really like it myself. It smells okay from far away when you're just getting whiffs of it, but again, I'm one of those people that always puts an extra spray on my wrist because I want to enjoy the fragrance myself, right? So it smells okay at the beginning if you just get a whiff of it, but you know, but if you're like close up, it's kind of like a weird bakery, kind of like bitter cocoa cookie. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but I don't particularly like the beginning. And of course, it has this kind of like nostril. I don't know if it's the absolu super, but if you take too much of it in, a little bit nostril burning, I think. Anyway, thankfully that only lasts for about a half hour to an hour, and then it turns into a. It starts to like slowly turn into what it stays for a large part of the fragrance, sort of the bitter orange and perhaps a little bit of the dried fruit. It adds kind of a freshness, frostiness, kind of like crisp note. The kind of, my nose actually makes it kind of relate to a sort of, well, crisp, kind of like a frosting kind of smell. So maybe like a orange frosting, like an orange cake frosting, kind of sweet on a maybe. It's not, still not quite chocolatey at this point. Maybe kind of like a cocoa, just like a cocoa ball, kind of like crust up, dusty, the ends of like a cocoa pebble cereal kind of thing. It's not quite chocolate yet, really, I would say. So you get kind of like, you know, a cake. Sorry. You get kind of like a cake frosting, kind of like an orange cake frosting, sort of thing, kind of a little frostiness with that on a sort of cocoa, not quite chocolate smell. And as the scent goes on, and it lasts a long time, like I would say performance-wise, we're talking, I don't know, 16 hours, maybe more. I mean, this lasts a long time. So as it goes on, you know, it starts to get a little less like frosty, and it becomes more and more darker and a little bit more creamier. And I wouldn't say that it actually becomes chocolate until maybe even the last 4-5 hours, you know what I mean? So I think the name is kind of misleading. I mean, you hear chocolate greedy, and personally, I don't think it actually smells like chocolate until maybe like, you know, who knows, maybe the last 5 hours or so, you know what I mean? So you might get as many as like, 10 hours or so of, you know, not quite chocolate. And so I think the name can be kind of a little misleading. And not that I don't, like I said, I only don't really like the first half hour. The chocolate frosting thing, I mean, I think that smells pretty good. And once it turns into a more real chocolate smell, that smells good too. But again, that's the last, you know, maybe 5 hours or so. And you got to wait maybe 10 hours before you get to that point. So a bit of a misleading name, but that's what my nose relates it to. I would think that, you know, again, by the name, I was thinking maybe something like a chocolate lava cake. That's what I was thinking when I heard this. But you know what? The only point at which you get a real chocolate smell for me is the last, you know, 5 hours or so. So, and who knows if you're going to last that long. Like I said, this lasts, you know, 16 hours whenever I've worn it. You know what I mean? It lasts a long time. So a lot of times you might not even get to the chocolate smell, or at least for me, skin chemistry wise. So I will say, all that being said though, I do like the smell. I have a pretty good sized decant of it. I don't know if I would say it's worth a full bottle, especially say for someone like me with a limited amount of spending income for something like fragrances. But you know, I'll probably get another decant when it's gone. But again, I don't think I feel the urge to buy a full bottle of it, if that makes sense. So basically, in short, kind of some kind of bakery, slight cocoa smell with some like nostril burning a little bit if you put too much on. Smells okay from far away though. Then it turns into a chocolate sort of cake frosting sort of thing, orange cake frosting. That's what my nose relates it to. And then finally, a real darker chocolate, nice chocolate. Not a chocolate lava cake like I was expecting, but definitely chocolate, and it smells good. So whatever. So that's what I got out of that one. Now, Vanilla Absolute. Okay. This one doesn't have many notes in it either, and I can just tell you the ones off the top of my head. And this is only ones here, and it is vanilla, cinnamon, cloves, and woods. So there's not much in it, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't pick up any cinnamon. Maybe my nose is asthmatic or whatever that word is to it. Like, I've never worn it and picked up any cinnamon in it whatsoever. So maybe I just don't smell it. I don't get it. But the vanilla, the woods, kind of clove, that kind of smell, I get that. And what my nose relates it to, kind of, it's like I think the woods, depending on what I'm getting out of the woods, like sometimes the woods makes it kind of like a very smoky sort of vanilla, and that's not to say it smells like something like Spiritus du Vanille or whatever it is, which I need to do another review on because I have 2 different decants of that, and I guess there's a smoky version of that, and then it was reformulated into a boozy version of it. So, but whatever the case, I don't think it smells like that, but it can be a pretty smoky vanilla but no tobacco or anything. But I mean, just a very smoky kind of vanilla smell. But the wood, sometimes it's a little warmer, so it's kind of like a burnt woods with vanilla, which kind of makes me think of a sort of, it doesn't smell like a marshmallow, but it kind of reminds me of see, I feel like I'm making it sound too delicious, but this is what it makes me think of. Kind of like putting a marshmallow on a stick and it's just like there's fire burning, you know, that smell of burning wood and marshmallow, which makes it sound too delicious because I don't think it smells like that, but it's kind of what I'm thinking. So, you know, kind of like, it depends on what my nose is relating to it at the time, but so kind of a smoky vanilla sometimes, maybe a little more warm, burny vanilla, and at other times, really just a vanilla sort of bomb kind of smell. And again, I never get any cinnamon or really spices. Not really per se for me personally. So yeah, sometimes, so between those three, sometimes a little bit of a vanilla bomb, smoky vanilla, and like sort of like a burnt, warm vanilla kind of thing. I will say, I do like the smell. I've gone kind of between when I've worn it like okay to it smells really good sometimes. But saying that, I actually have had to wash this off my hand or whatever I'm wearing sometimes because it is just so strong. Like maybe it's a little bit of the Isoi Super sometimes because I think they're in both, or maybe it's just the mix, but I've actually had to wash it off because it started to make me sick every single time that I've worn it. Now, of course, as anyone that actually knows me or watches this channel, thanks for watching, they know that my health is actually not that good, okay? So I do, I'm a little bit sick, and to say the least, really, but, I get sick quite a bit. So it might be a little bit of a coincidence, but I'll assume it has a little bit to do with both. So I've gotten sick every time I've worn this, though. Like, it just doesn't, it's just too much. Again, maybe it's just, I'm sick, health isn't good. Maybe it's a little of both, the mix, but even though I like the smell every time I've worn it, it's just kind of made me sick, so. So performance and projection, I mean, I don't think the projection is beast mode, but it's beast mode for me. Do you know what I mean? Good projection, beast mode to my nose because something is not working and it's just a bad mix. But that's not to say I don't like the smell. It is a nice smell. And I know some people, I think I've seen some reviews, some people think it smells like a vanilla cookie. I can't comment on that because, again, I don't really like cookies. Like I think if you guys saw my last video. So I don't know anything about a vanilla cookie, but I do like the smell. I'm going to say it lasts around 12 hours. I don't think it's as much as chocolate greedy, but granted, I've sprayed more chocolate greedy on my hand when I've tried it than this because I like chocolate greedy quite a bit more and I can get through it. So, I probably have maybe like 2 or 3 more wines of Vanille Absolute. I don't think I'll get another one just because, although I like the smell again, it makes me sick, so I'm going to have to pass on it. You know what I mean? So that's my review of that. I'm surprised no one has done that at all, but so here I am saving YouTube. I guess, I don't know. I think next review I'm going to do a Parfum Roma. I don't know how you say their name. I know I got a few fragrances for them, so I'll probably do some impressions of that because I do actually like one of them in particular quite a bit. So yeah, in review, in short, Chocolate Greedy, I do like that one, and I think that's worthy of a decant. Again, I've never smelled Choco Musk, but I do like Chocolate Greedy. Vanilla Absolute smells okay, but it's not working for me, if that makes sense. So anyway, to the people that watched, thanks for watching. Like, sub, subscribe if you want to. Just please don't hate it, please. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. The end.